Problem every damn day. Oh, there's the countdown. Just started slow. I hope it's live. People will say, oh, Jason, everybody else can live stream. Why can't you? You know, I'm doing something a little different here. And it is definitely more complicated, but with more complexity, more ways to jam up the works. I don't know, I hope it's live. I'm not going to stop it because you just never know what the hell this thing is doing. But anyway, I wanted to come back over here and explore some stuff with people because it's important. Some things came up after yesterday's stream. The graphic today, we saw Benny. He's shocked. He was interviewing Tulsi Gabbard and he was shocked to hear that Operation Mockingbird is still operational. I'm not shocked by that. I think a lot of people aren't shocked by that. Seemed a little disingenuous, to tell you the truth, Benny saying he's shocked. Let me see if I turn this off. Maybe this will help us understand if I'm live or not. Yeah, I mean, see, the point is, trying to walk around New York City on a live stream is different than just recording something on the phone and putting it out later. Looks like we might in fact be, maybe not. It's not live. Amazing. Why is that? I'm hounded by this damn thing. How could it do that to me? Destinations. It says it's active, so if I end it, it's going to screw it up. Why is this being so damn difficult? There's obviously something working differently on the phone out here than when I'm in the apartment, because setting it up the same way, it's not working. But anyway, we're going to still go in there and we'll carry on with the show and then I'll play it later. More things to figure out. Benny is shocked. I don't think what's happening now has anything to do with Operation Mockingbird. This just has to do with the complexities of dealing with computers and live streaming and, you know, things being complicated and not wanting to cooperate. That's what's happening right now. But yeah, people might have seen, I went down in there. We were in the shopping mall section of this wonderful little Moynihan train station. Let's go down and check out what's going on in Penn Station. Maybe a lot of people haven't seen Penn Station in a while. Unbelievable, the problems this thing gives me. And now I can't get this back on. Well, I wanted to show people something on the screen here, but in troubleshooting the live, that option has gone away. So the reason I wanted to go down here is, you know, yesterday people saw me over here in, what is this thing called? Section 33. Oh, this is MTA police somehow controlling the flow of traffic. We'll look at that later. Plaza 33. Yeah, it had me thinking about Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. And it had me thinking about when I went to the Donald Trump rally over here. That wasn't that long ago, it was October. And I ran into a bunch of people. One of them was Benny. Do people remember seeing me run into Benny over here? We had a little conversation. I ran into several people, Jack Posobiec, Mike Benz. We were talking about Mike Benz just right over here yesterday. Benny, Mike Benz. I saw Free Will, William Pope. I think he was the only person I ran into who didn't have some kind of crazy agenda or ulterior motive over here. But I wanted to show people this video of Benny. I haven't really highlighted it before. Let's watch this. Notice the guys on the right-hand side of the screen wearing the black hat. He was wearing the dark MAGA hat. It says "Make America Great Again." Remember, that was an Elon Musk kind of meme, the dark MAGA. And also that guy had an X logo on his hoodie, his t-shirt, his sweatshirt. And he was kind of vetting all the VIP influencers, Jack and that German girl, Naomi Seabit or whatever her name is, Benny. We'll see him interact with Benny right here. Take a look.
Dude, that's amazing. You have all these That's so awesome.
Benny, we keep meeting at these rallies. How are you?
Hey, what's going on again?
Good
Nice to see you. I saw you streaming this morning.
Oh, did you?
What's up, man?
Not too much.
What a day.
It's a huge
What's
day.
going on?
Isn't that interesting that he says he saw me streaming this morning? It's not like Benny just kind of peripherally knows who I am. He's watching me at least that morning. Is he watching me every day? Are you watching now, Benny? Hi, Benny. Why didn't you invite me on the show to talk about Butler and the assassination attempt? It seems like you were watching all of those streams too. I mentioned the three-dimensional kill box as being a military assassination tactic, and then you tweeted something about Killbox. Maybe that's a coincidence, or, you know, maybe you love the show, but why not invite me on if you're a fan of the show? That makes no sense. I don't get it. But let's go down into the train station. Here we see the Amtrak police. What's up, fellas? And we're just gonna audit the train station here. Oh, I'm running out of data. See, I should have checked that. That's another separate problem. This is all kinds of problems that can come up when I'm doing these live streams, but I wanted to audit the train station here because you see, yesterday when I went into the Moynihan part of the train station, which actually that's across the street. Let me figure out how to get to that from here, because I'm not, as I said, that's a new kind of construction, and so that's kind of over there. Can we get to that yet? It actually looks like it's still under construction. We see, well, I don't know what's going on here. This is the old classic part of Penn Station. Amtrak trains over here. New Jersey Transit is a little bit sort of further to the west. Excuse me, the east. And Long Island Railroad kind of in between here and there. You'll notice the police have no issue with me video recording in here because it's a public space. You're allowed to do that. We have retail shops here just like you do out on the street in Manhattan. Even they can't stop me from video recording outside here. We want to see what's going on. We've got the US military in here. That's an interesting thing to observe. I sort of object to the military being in train stations, but they're here. And they obviously also don't tell me to stop recording because even I'm allowed to tell them I object to them being here. This is a public part of New York City. And the Moynihan Train Hall in particular is what I want to talk about. This goes to the Operation Mockingbird aspect of this. It's very interesting because I'm sure most people know Operation Mockingbird is a formally classified program of the Central Intelligence Agency that was developed through the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and revealed publicly, I believe, for the first time in the 1970s in the Church Committee hearings. And what came out there was that the CIA, the intelligence services, were paying and otherwise influencing journalists, editors, newspapers, television and radio stations, basically controlling stories in the media. Because after World War II, you know, that really was when mass media took hold. Everybody started certainly having radios and televisions, and we had shortly thereafter in the 1960s, you had satellite broadcasting. Remember, Adam Sharp's father, Roger Sharp, was involved in one of the very first live satellite broadcasts. Maybe not one of the very first, but certainly early in satellite remote video broadcasting when he appeared inside the Dallas police station on November 22nd, 1963, and told everybody Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK. That was Adam Sharp's father who did that. Now, is that a conspiracy theory that I'm telling you that? I'm just recounting historical facts. Roger Sharp was inside the Dallas police station on November 22nd, 1963, 11/22. You add those up, you get 33. I'm not saying that's gematria or magic, and I certainly didn't select that date as the date to assassinate JFK. Why is this closed? So the police are saying it's closed, nobody can enter there at all. That's interesting. She gave me the little, what's going on inside the Moynihan train hall that it's closed. We'll see. But my point is, this control of media narratives, it's been going on for a long time. And I guess after the church committee hearings, there was some representation that it had stopped. I don't think that's true, but that's open for debate. Now, wait a minute. We got something going on here. Oh, we got masked people. Maybe somebody was like charging at the...
The little cop just came over and said, if they want to fight, let them fight. If they do not high, stop it.
What is
They didn't
going
leave
on?
though, they're still there. What happened?
This is impossible to miss.
See, that's what you do though, right? That's what you do? Yes. I know why. Don't let this.
Hey, wait.
But I didn't see it.
We always seem to have Joel Mottola around whenever this kind of stupid crap is going on. Why is he always here? This wouldn't be a staged... You making hand signals, or you praying to Jesus, Mary, and Joseph there? What are you doing? So is this a staged incident? Sergeant Mottola, you always seem to be here at all of these staged incidents. It's weird. Where's Victor Parrott? Does he work for you? Who? What? Who? Only the stupidest. New York's stupidest. That's what you got to do. That fucking guy. They're always around, staging some kind of bullshit. Who? Who? So you can't access the train station right now? Is that the idea? What is going on? Yeah, the train station is closed. Wow. Hey, how you doing? Do you work for Joel Mottola?
No.
What were you doing in that meeting with Eric Adams and Orrin Levi? What was going on with that?
What?
Remember you were in that meeting with Orrin Levi and Eric
Oh,
Adams?
I was not there. I was not there.
You were not there?
I didn't go.
You didn't go?
I didn't go.
Hey, there's Orrin Levi's brother.
Oh, good. You fucking recognize me. I got so
See,
many
these
fans.
guys are always hanging out where Joel Mottola is. This wouldn't be a staged
Aren't you
incident,
hanging
would
out?
it? He's
you
here
doing?
to agitate
I'm
for the
agitating,
Israel
yes,
side.
agitating. See, that's
You
not-
guys are here for him to start a fight with me,
We're
and then
starting a
I
fight
get
with you.
arrested. Get the fuck out of here, you idiot.
Oh, don't hurt me.
So it's amazing. It's amazing. Joel Mottola, that stupid idiot, that girl who's in the meeting with Eric Adams. I got a picture of her in the meeting. I forget her name. But these are agitators, people who work for the community response team, which Sergeant Joel Mottola, he's part of that. He is part of the community response team. And there's some sort of staged incident going on right over here that's seemingly keeping me out of the... Where's this homeless lady who lives here? She abandoned her stuff? That's very unlike any homeless person to do. Weird.
Can I get to the train hall?
You're not allowed to go in there?
It's closed, so you have to go down.
Why is it closed?
There's a protest going on for security reasons, so you have to go down the stairs. Right?
You can't access the trains at all?
Sir.
You have to go down the stairs, make a right, go across the street to Penn Station, and go down the stairs.
Yeah, but you still can't get into Moynihan Train Hall. Well, anyway, the point I wanted to make, it's interesting that this is happening now. See, this is what I'm saying. Operation Mockingbird, we're looking at it right here. This is all bullshit, staged by the cops. I don't know which direction my camera was facing when that guy, I said, are you praying to Jesus, Mary, and Joseph? Because he was doing that, like, you know, that whole thing. But it looked like some kind of hand signal to somebody, because I started saying, is Joel Matola here? And there he was. Am I psychic? All these people, they're all around at the same time. So something's going to happen here. You'll see it in the New York Post. Where is Olya Scootercaster? Where is, what's on this guy's phone? I'm sure Grindr, Tinder, certainly not official business. These cops are all just standing around getting overtime to stage some sort of idiotic incident. It's amazing. This is not at all what I intended to be looking at coming out here. This is the NYPD in 2025. Overweight, overtime, on the phone, texting, staging events. Yeah, just texting, doing nothing. Hiring Oren and Ronan Levi to agitate, you know, create a fight. We've got the Israel-Palestine fight. That's what they're here to do. It's just nonsense. How much does this bullshit cost? Is this guy reporting back to China? Whispering in his hand? Oh, is he vaping? This is just a ridiculous scene right here. Anyway, what I was intending to talk about was, it's my right to record inside that Moynihan Train Hall. And see, George's idiot brother was freaking out yesterday. This is what I wanted to talk about with Operation Mockingbird. I don't know if it's still called that. People have heard me say, I've seen lots and lots of evidence in the public domain that causes me to believe that their father, George Henry Swigert, was a participant in Operation Paperclip. I've realized that I could be wrong about that. It's possible that he was a participant in Operation Overcast. That was the precursor to Operation Paperclip. Same thing though, Nazis came over, they gave them secret identities, false background histories, you know, new jobs, new lives in the United States, and they figured, well, you know, Werner von Braun, he knows everything about rockets, so we need him. This guy Faulkner, who started the Twin Research Center at the University of, I think, Kentucky University. We'd have to check, where is that twin research happening? Anyway, you know, they decided these Nazis were important and we want them, so we're going to give them secret backgrounds. That came out later too. I'm not sure when that all got declassified. What's interesting is Eric Lichtblau was involved in writing the book about Operation Paperclip with, and what's her name? Her name escapes me right now. Operation Paperclip book. Annie Jacobson. She wrote that book with Eric Lichtblau. Remember Eric Lichtblau, he's the guy in the United States versus Sussman who is represented by Chris Boosie's attorney, Maxwell Mishkin. I don't know what that means, but it's just all very weird. There's the New Yorker. That's where Nikolai Tesla did a lot of his research towards the end of his life. I think that's where FBI agents sort of captured all of his stuff. Right, and so speaking of the FBI, it was just super interesting how much George's brother started freaking out after I went to the Moynihan train hall yesterday. And so I started kind of looking into that. Oh, how do I get... Started looking into that. Like, he's when I say that this psychopathic maniac is hassling me every day, you know, it's not people like, oh, you know, you're being immature too, get over it, you know, make up with George, talk to George. But that's not it, you see, because the guy sent me 5 emails today. My mother didn't send me 5 emails today. And it's not just emails like, oh, you're a jerk or, you know, whatever. He's spending all day formulating these complex strategies. So he's emailing everybody having anything to do with Amtrak, saying, oh, arrest Jason Goodman for violating whatever various Amtrak policy inside the Moynihan train station. What he's reading are policies about doing commercial motion picture productions, television productions. You know, you can't go in there and shoot a scene for The Amazing Spider-Man with generators and catering tents and all that without getting a permit. But, you know, walking in there, even if I'm monetizing the video, it's not going to fall under the category of commercial production. And even if it does, he has no standing to bring any action on behalf of Amtrak. He's an idiot. Oh, that girl's playing up the good genes thing, I think, wearing a denim outfit. Everybody's excited that Sydney Sweeney is a Republican. She's going to run in 2028. But the point is, George's brother is such a dedicated lunatic, you know, it just doesn't make sense that he would be doing this unless George and his brother are part of some modern iteration of this Operation Paperclip style effort to control information and media. And see, again, I've used this analogy quite a lot, like how a baby learns to speak English. You know, you could sit and have a conversation with there's a young child sitting there eating pizza. I'm sure she could explain to you how much she likes pizza and how she wants to go to Toys R Us or whatever. You could probably talk to that kid for an hour or two, have a detailed conversation. It would be juvenile and childlike, but she understands English is what I'm getting at. Couldn't necessarily teach a college English literature class or tell you how to conjugate different verbs and things like that, or even necessarily understand what that would mean. But in other words, just from hearing other people talk and getting a sense of ideas, that person, young as she is, understands English. And there's things you could say to her that she would understand and comprehend. So likewise, just by observing what George, his brother, Benny, other people have done and do for years and years, we can understand certain things without being read into the program. We don't need it to be written down and explained as it would be in a college course, or even necessarily how it might be to people who are participating in it. We can just learn from observation. Same way a baby learns to speak English. So what I've learned is, it's interesting that George's brother gets extremely exercised when things happen with Nina Jankowicz, because it's quite clear that she plays a role in this information governance operation, that they aren't giving up. People think, the Disinformation Governance Board got shut down, so that's good. That means they're going away. No, that means they're pivoting to the next thing. You know, USAID got shut down. Oh, hooray. Well, they're pivoting to the next thing. Until people get put in jail, and I'm talking about George's fucking asshole, mentally ill, wife-swapping, hog-fucking maniac, Operation Paperclip, Nazi, stupid fuck brother, until that motherfucker gets put in a concrete box and locked there for the rest of his life, which is what he deserves, it doesn't seem like he's going to stop what he's doing. And that means that someone is motivating him to do that, because I just can't imagine that even a lunatic would spend all day on a sunny Saturday in the summertime when he's got a mentally retarded kid who he should be taking care of. Why is he doing this? It's obviously his job. Someone is paying him. You don't persist at some really complicated, time-consuming, not fun activity for 8 years. Or people might say, no, maybe he has fun antagonizing you, Jason. Do we think so? He's obviously got a goal of trying to get me to stop. That's what he's trying to do in all of these legal filings that he's doing. You know, he wants injunctions. They want me in jail. That was the whole purpose of Nina's restraining order and Ivan Raiklin going and saying her name on my live stream. I mean, that all came up in this new iteration of Jankowitz v. Goodman in 2025. So you're telling me that's all just coincidental? If someone was actually stalking a person and they were seriously afraid for their safety to the extent that they got a restraining order, and then there was an incident in June of 2023 that they felt was another incident of threat, why would they wait 2 years to report that? That's what Nina did. Doesn't make sense, does it? If she were legitimately threatened by Ivan Raiklin coming on my live stream and saying her name, or me referring to a janky bitch appearing in Congress, why wait until 2 weeks before the restraining order is about to expire to like secretly file the thing and not tell me about it and only reveal it to me when the court contacts me to reschedule the hearing that I didn't know about until they did that? You know, maybe it's coincidence. I'm not saying this has all been proven. This is the conclusion that I draw from looking at this public domain evidence. That's why I always tell people, you might look at the same evidence and come to some other conclusion. That's possible. You know, I noticed there's just a lot of people who, when I say something like Jack Posobiec is a liar, they're like, no, you're being immature. Or George, you should, make up with him. I listen to George too. I'm not telling anybody not to listen to George or Jack or whatever. I'm just saying, if you're watching George, you should ask him, hey, George, why won't you answer this question of where is the pro se filing receipt for ECF number 12 in Swigert versus Cable News Network in the Eastern District of Michigan? Why won't he just give us a sensible answer to that, like present that receipt or somehow explain how it got filed pro se without a receipt? Because that's an answer they've been avoiding for 3+ years now. Obviously, it would tend to cause me to believe that my explanation is correct, that they had the assistance of the clerk. And if that is correct, the implications are astounding. It means that employees of the court, employees of the government, are working with George and his brother to violate the law. No one should do this. I'm not suggesting that you do. In fact, I'm urging you not to. I'm just saying, if anyone was to file a forged document in federal court, as far as I understand the law, it's a felony. And if you get caught and prosecuted, you could go to jail in Michigan for 14 years. But yet, all the evidence indicates that that's what they did. So if that's correct, the implications of that are also astounding. It means that the court and employees or contractors, whatever the hell George and his brother are, of the government, people who seem to be working with and for Nina Jankowitz and Adam Sharp and Valerie Caproni. That's what I wanted to talk about, Valerie Caproni. Let's see if we can get this thing linked up over here for any reason. It wasn't working over there. Not working. Well, Valerie Caproni, we know, was the FBI General Counsel, and I was going to show everybody her, maybe if I turn this off and back on, I was going to show everybody her Wikipedia, because I was thinking, like, what are the implications of that Moynihan train station being privately owned? Arguably, if it's privately owned, the private owner might be able to say you're not allowed to record in here, but even then, a handheld cell phone, that's not the type of thing that they're trying to stop. They don't want tripods, they don't want big setups with lights and camera crews and people shooting commercials for products or movies or things that are going to go on TV. I don't think it's geared towards every YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, social media person. I just don't even think they have a mechanism in place to enforce for that. But so I was asking, hey, is that Moynihan Train Hall built with taxpayer funds? And it said yes, something like $970 million worth of it. It was a combination. Let me see if I can find that, or we'll ask it again. Was the Moynihan Train Hall built with taxpayer funds? And it tells us, yes, the Moynihan Train Hall in New York City was built with a combination of public and private funding, including taxpayer dollars. According to Empire State Development, the $1.6 billion project was funded by $550 million from the state of New York, $420 million from Amtrak, the MTA, the Port Authority at a federal grant, and $630 million from joint venture developers, which was Vornado Realty Trust and related companies. Now, I think that Empire State Development, that had something to do with it, with the development of that Moynihan Train Hall. And what's interesting about that is Valerie Caproni, before she was a judge, let's get to this part here, her career. So we know that she was in the U.S. Attorney Office for the Eastern District of New York. That's where she was getting down with Andrew Weissman and Burl Howell. Ultimately, Jack Smith came out of that filthy, corrupt cesspit. That's the same piece of shit U.S. Attorney's Office that prosecuted Doug Mackey for his memes. Really evil bunch of corrupt people. Valerie Caproni happens to be a fat, disgusting, corrupt bitch. And by the way, it's my right to say that. George's brother's gonna go and file this in cases with her. Fine, fuck you, George's brother. Fuck you, Valerie Caproni. I'm happy to go into her court and talk to her about the fact that it's my First Amendment right to say that she's a fat, corrupt bitch. As far as I can tell, from looking at public domain evidence and all the accusations of her engaging in crimes, I'd love to talk to her about that because it would give me an opportunity to talk about what a fat fucking bitch she is in her courtroom. Ordinarily, you can't just call the judge a fat fucking bitch in the court because it would be contempt. But if it becomes the subject of litigation, that would be interesting. I'd like to see what would happen. I don't doubt that it's my First Amendment right to comment on my opinion that she's fat and that she's a fucking corrupt bitch. But anyway, the point is, she was in the Eastern District U.S. Attorney's Office, and then in early 1989, she became the general counsel for the New York State Urban Development Corporation, and she supervised a legal staff of approximately 20 and was involved in many major economic development projects, including the Times Square redevelopment project. And the thing is that New York State Urban Development Corporation, that is, let's get to the exact explanation of what that is. The Moynihan train thing, we're being talked to by the Empire State Development. So let's look that up. Empire State Development. Let's just go to Wikipedia on that. The Empire State Development Corporation is the umbrella organization of New York's two principal economic development public benefit corporations, the New York State Urban Development Corporation. So that's what Valerie Caproni was part of. So it's interesting that George's brother is so concerned that I'm walking around in this project. Is there something that he believes he can do because of what appears to be a very special relationship between him and Valerie Caproni? Do people remember that he was emailing Valerie Caproni's chambers Christmas Eve? I forget what year, maybe 2023. bullshit about me. He's emailing the judge's chambers Christmas Eve. Again, I'm not recommending that you do this. Nobody should try emailing a judge's chambers, definitely not Christmas Eve. Not that she would be there and be particularly annoyed by that, but judges get really super pissed off when you email their chambers unless they've specifically told you such and such is happening on such and such a date. Email chambers at this time about this thing. They don't want a million emails coming in there. And when you're a frantic lunatic, schizophrenic, possibly mentally ill asshole like George's fucking stupid brother, they definitely don't want emails from you. Yet Valerie Caproni said absolutely nothing when he did this. And somehow, Adam Sharp, whose father was inside the police station in Dallas telling everybody that Lee Harvey Oswald shot, somehow he knew of a fake name, of a false corporation invented by George's brother that they sued, that Valerie Caproni just would not allow me to investigate how they found out about that. There's this mysterious email. She wouldn't even allow it to be viewed in camera, meaning only the judge gets to see it. The excuse that Adam Sharp's company gave was, this is a matter of privacy for the person sending the email. And I said, fine, maintain that person's privacy, just have the judge see who it is. Because just like this receipt in Michigan, which if George had it would prove that I was wrong, they don't want to do that because I'm not wrong. Same reason Valerie Caproni doesn't want to let anybody inspect this email, because it would show, I believe, that it was sent by George's brother and that I'm correct, that this is a conspiracy between private actors, George, his brother, idiots like that, major media people like the president of the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, Adam Sharp, who used to be an executive at Twitter right at the exact same time when the FBI got inserted into Twitter. When I went and told Elon Musk about that, I got choked. Elon Musk still doesn't care about it. He avoided service in a lawsuit about that attack for 6 months like a frickin' hobo. Why wouldn't the richest guy in the world just say, oh my God, that was a mix-up. Let's settle with this guy, get him on the phone, send him 50,000 bucks, whatever, 100, 200, whatever number. They wouldn't try to settle to end it. They'd fight that lawsuit. It's definitely cost more than 50, 100. I mean, the Emmys, the National Academy of Television, spent millions on this already. There's an appeal now in the Second Circuit. And by the way, that's the other reason why George's brother has become so activated, is that more of these appeals are happening. Nina's appeal has been accepted in the Arlington Circuit Court. It's on its way to the Virginia Appellate Court. Obviously, George's brother knows that. Well, how did he find that out? Because Nina's the only one who can access the docket, her lawyer, and me, and even me. They barely let me access it. I only know that it's there because the post office tells me that, and checks are getting cashed. One of the motions I have is to unseal the docket, because it's such an opaque process there in Virginia, and I'm sure Nina and other likely intelligence operatives know that. You know, this is an obscure little aspect of the law. If somebody like Jason gets too close with their reporting, claim they're harassing you, make up a bunch of bullshit, get them into court in Virginia, and it's super easy to get a restraining order, run them out of money, getting lawyers, or in my case, confound them with opaque process and make it difficult to defend pro se. But anyway, I don't think George's idiot brother is going to get anywhere with his next proposed idiotic lawsuit. But the thing that's crazy is, you know, I sued Nina and Ben Wittes one time, and the Southern District of New York enjoined me from ever suing them again. Seems like an abuse of my rights to me, particularly given that George's asshole brother, his wife-swapping, hog-fucking, paperclip, Nazi, lunatic, mentally ill, maniac brother has sued me, I can't even count, maybe 20 times. I mean, the guy literally emails me every day practically for the past 8 years. And this Judge John Colt, same judge who jammed up Bernard Kerik, Kerik sued his attorney, Joe Tacopina, for malpractice. He said Tacopina shared attorney-client privileged information with federal agents. So who else do we know that violated attorney-client privilege? Oh yeah, Ivan Raiklin. So it's like they have this standard tool chest. They have a lot of tools in their tool chest. They say that all the time. But you know, they get attorneys close to you who learn things about your case, and then they absolve those attorneys of any kind of punishment for violating attorney-client privilege. And that's a great way for them to jam you up. You think you can trust the attorney, and then he goes on a live stream and specifically violates the court order that only you and he know about. Or in the case of Bernard Kerik, the attorney advises you to do something, you do it, then he tells the federal agents, look at what this guy just did, and you go to jail. Same judge, John Colt. That judge refuses to rule on a Rule 11 motion against George's brother. So even when I get to the point that I understand the process and can properly execute it, they just say, well, no, you didn't do it right. And it's like, wait, what are you talking about? Of course I did. He didn't say you didn't do it right. He said the prerequisite failed. The only prerequisite in the Rule 11 motion is to notify the party 21 days in advance, which I did. So all of these appeals are happening now. We'll see what happens. I need to do some more research to figure out why the hell this fails on the phone, even though I've got it working from the apartment. Very confusing. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Please sponsor this show. Follow on X at JG_CSTT. You can subscribe there. You can subscribe on crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com or subscribestar.com or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Have a great day, everybody.